morning, second grade math magicians. Nice to see you today. I hope you are well. We are going to be working with two-digit addition again today, and I wanted to let you know that we're going to be noticing that there's different methods that people use to add two-digit numbers, especially when they're making new groups of tens and new groups with hundreds. So let's get started. Today you'll be able to recognize that two-digit addition problems can be solved using the new groups below method. And you'll know you'll have it when you're able to recognize and solve problems using the new groups below method. Here we go. Hi there. Okay, so today we're going to revisit our friends Mr. and Mrs. Green. And Mr. and Mrs. Green are our friends who own that wonderful market where they sell fruits and vegetables and jellies and all kinds of things. And they have to do a lot of counting and they have to do a lot of keeping track of things that they have in their store so that when people come in to buy things, their shelves are stocked, they can get what they need, and also Mr. and Mrs. Green know what to order. Today we're going to be looking at how Mr. and Mrs. Green are slightly different from each other. Now, we've talked before about how everybody's math brain thinks differently, right? No one way is correct. So just like you, Mr. and Mrs. Green have different ways that they enjoy solving two-digit addition problems, and we're going to look at their two ways today. Now, the first way that we're going to be talking about is what we have been using previously, which is the show all totals method. That is Mr. Green's favorite way of solving problems. So help me through that right now, please, if you will. Mr. Green likes solving using the show all totals method. So in that method, we would start by adding the tens. You've got it. And so in this problem, Mr. Green has 3 tens here because the number 36 has 30, which is 3 tens plus 6 ones. So 30 here plus 49, which is 40 plus 9 in expanded form. So I know that I have 30 plus 40 that I need to add first. What's 3 plus 4? Yes, math magicians, you got it. So I know that if I'm adding 3 tens plus 4 more tens, I can say, okay, I have 40. Oops, it's kind of hard to see there we go. I have 30, and then, I have 40, and then I'm going to add on 3 more tens, 40, 50, 60, 70. I know that now I have 7 tens or 70. So Mr. Green has 70. And then for our show all totals method, we now need to add the ones. Well, I have 9 ones plus 6 more. I could make a 10, and I know that 9 plus 1 more equals 10. And if I take this number and I have 5 and 1, because 5 plus 1 makes up 6, I take the 1 to make a 10, and then I have 5 more. I would say, okay, 10 plus 5 is 15. Now I have 15 ones. I have 70 in my tens. And I would take my tens and ones and I would now add them together to find the sum of 36 plus 49. I would say I now have 8 tens. 8 tens is the same as saying what? 80. And I have 5 ones. So Mr. Green has 85, and I don't even think that I told you what we were talking about, did I? He has 85 strawberries. Who doesn't love strawberries, right? Unless you're allergic. I totally get that. Okay, 85 strawberries. Now, that is how Mr. Green likes to solve. This is Mr. Green's favorite way of solving. He likes the show all totals. But his wife, her brain thinks slightly differently, and she likes to solve in a totally different way called new groups below. And you might have seen Mrs. Green's way before. So let's see if you recognize Mrs. Green's way. Here's Mrs. Green. And we're going to add the same number of strawberries. So she started with 36 strawberries. She added 49 more strawberries to the bins that they have their strawberries in. And she wants to figure out how many strawberries they have all together, or she wants to figure out the sum. Now, for her method, she starts in the ones place. She starts by adding the ones. So she's going to say, okay, we could do the same thing as we did here. I could say I have 9 ones and I need to add 6 more. So if I drew this out as a proof drawing, I might say I have 36 plus 49 Okay, now I could say I can add my ones together, and I have a group of 5 here and another group of 5 here, and those go together to make a new 10. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and that will make 15. So I know that altogether Mrs. Green has 15 ones. Now watch what happens here. I'm putting my 5 here for the number 15, and I'm going to take the 10 from the number 15, and I'm going to put that new group. See how that 10 is here and the 5 ones are here? I'm going to take the number 15 and I'm going to put my 10 over here with the 10s, and I'm going to put my 5 ones over here in the ones. So I made a new group. I've got one group of 10 in the number 15. It's here with the other 10s. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. So I've put my 5 in the ones. And then Mrs. Green says, and then I just add my 10s. Now, the one thing that she wants you to remember, math magicians, is don't forget to add in that extra 10. You need it. Okay, over here in Mr. Green's version, you can see it with the number 15. But in Mrs. Green's version, she circled it and made a new group below the other 10s. You can still see that this is the number 15 because there's 1 10 and 5 ones, but she wants to make sure you add it in. So I would say 4 plus 3 more, 5, 6, 7, and then don't forget this guy, 8. So Mrs. Green also counted that there are 85 strawberries. Now, if I count over here using my proof drawing or my math drawing, let's make sure that Mr. Green and Mrs. Green and Mrs. Olson all got 85. Can we do that together? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. This group of 10 is 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. We all got 85 strawberries. You've seen Mr. Green's way, which is our show all totals. You've seen Mrs. Green's way, which is called new groups below. And we also have our math drawing here just to make sure that Mr. Green and Mrs. Green are accurate. Let's do another. Math magicians, here we are with another problem for Mr. and Mrs. Green's store. And we're going to be looking at how Mrs. Green and Mr. Green differ in their problem solving. And we'll see if our problem solving, no matter which way you solve, we'll see if they're correct. Okay, so help me out here. I've written a problem down. It's the same problem in both places. And I would love for you to write this problem down also and solve with me. So take a minute, write this problem down. and let's get started solving. So first we'll solve with Mr. Green's show all totals. And when I'm doing the show all totals method, what do I need to do? Yeah, start in the tens. Okay, so Mr. Green has 26, which is 20 plus 6, if we write that in expanded form. And he also has 58, which is 50 plus 8 in expanded form. So if I have 50 plus 20, or 5 tens plus 2 tens, what does that equal? Yeah, 70, or 7 tens, because 50 plus 20 is 70. Now, I need to do the second step of my show all totals method, which is add the ones. Now I have 8 ones plus 6 more ones. Shall we make a 10? I know that 8 plus 2 more equals 10, which leaves 4 more to add to 10. So 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 4 more is 14. Here we go. 14. So I added my tens, I added my ones, and now I need to show all totals. I have 4 ones and I have 8 tens to get a total of 84. Now, Mrs. Green also is a great mathematician, and she looks at Mr. Green and says, hey, I know another way to do this. That's not how my brain thinks. So I'll show you how I do it, and let's see if we're both accurate. So Mrs. Green starts by saying, I'm going to start with the ones. She adds by starting in the ones. And she says, okay, I'm going to make a 10 so I can add to a teen total. And she says, I know that 8 plus 2 is 10, and I can split 6 into 2 and 4 because 2 plus 4 equals 6. So now I can make a 10 with my 8. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 4 more is 14. Now, watch what Mrs. Green does here. She takes her 4 ones that are in the number 14 and she puts it right below her ones. And then she takes her new group, or her 10, that goes along with the number 14, because 1, 10, and a 4 ones, make the number 14. Now she has 14 ones, or 1 10 and 4 ones. She looks at Mr. Green and says, now, Mr. Green, I can add my tens. I made a new group here that's part of the number 14, and I have the tens that were already there. Now, Mr. Green, I can't forget to add that 1 in, because that's a 10 and I need to make sure I put it with my other tens. Let's add it up. I've got 5 tens, which is 50. I've got 2 more tens, 50, 60, 70, and the 1 additional 10 from my 14 would be 80. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Green, completely different math thinkers, but are they both accurate? Sure, they did a great job. So let's make sure, using Mrs. Olson's proof drawing, to make sure that they are correct, and I want you to do the proof drawing with me. So let's count out our 10 sticks, 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 58, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I know that I can take these two and add them to my 8 that are already here. Why did I do that? Yes, because I can make a new 10. So I have 8, 9, 10. There's a new 10 there. And now I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. So let's count up and make sure that we get 84. Can we do that together? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. Math magicians, is it okay to look at numbers differently? Yes! Is it okay if other people have different ways of adding two-digit numbers? Yes! Okay, I have one more that we're going to look at together. Hold on. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Green have one more problem that they need to add up today. And Mr. and Mrs. Green were just talking, and they said that these are larger numbers, and they're a little concerned that the others' method won't work properly when they're adding larger numbers. Let's see, because I bet Mr. and Mrs. Green are great mathematicians, and I think that either the show all totals or the new groups below will work, but let's see. So Mr. Green starts by adding the tens. You got it, for the show all totals. So he has 8 tens because in the number 89 there's 8 tens plus 9 ones. In the number 64 there's 6 tens plus 4 ones. So I need to add 80 plus 60 first. Now, I think that this is going to go over 100. I don't think we're going to be in the tens anymore. What do you think? I think that if I break apart that 60 so that I can make 100, if I start with 80 and I add 20 more, I know that that will get to 100. And then I will still have another 40 to get to 140. Let's look at that. So I have 140, which is the same as saying 14 tens. You could say 14 tens, or you could say 140. Now, I have 140, and that means I've added 80 plus 60, or 8 tens plus 6 tens. And now I need to add my ones. So I have 9 ones plus 4 more ones. And I know if I want to make a 10 here, I know that 9 plus 1 is 10. And then I still have 3 more, because 4 is 1 plus 3, to make, after 10 to add. I still have 3 left. So 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus 3 more, 13. You got it. So I need to make sure I line my numbers up correctly and add. So now, if I want to show all totals, I need to add the 14 tens, or 140, plus the 13 ones, and I get 3 ones, 5 tens, or 50, and 100. Mr. Green has 153 potatoes. Now, let's see if Mrs. Green's method works just as smoothly as Mr. Green's. So when Mrs. Green does her new groups below, she would do this. She would start with the ones, which is different, and she would say, okay, I'm going to make a 10 to get a teen total, and I'm going to say 9 plus 1 more equals 10, and I'm going to say that after I use my 1 here, I've got 3 more from that 4 to add. So 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 3 more is 13. So here I'm going to put my 3 ones from the number 13 there. And why am I doing this? because the number 13 has 1 10 and 3 1s. So I added that new group of 10s right here to the 10s that were already there. So now I have 8 10s plus plus 6 more 10s plus 1 more 10 from the new group that I made with the number 13. So let's see, 8, and I can chunk this again into 6 could be a 2 and a 4. So 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 4 more is 14, plus 1 more is 15. So if I put my group of 5 10s here, but I made a new 100 because I said that there were 15. So if I'm making another new group, this was my new 10, and this is my, so this was 13 ones, or 1 10 and 3 1s. Here I have 15 10s, which is 150, and then I still had my 3 1s, so 153. Now, I want you to take a moment and do a proof drawing or a math drawing to show that Mr. Green and Mrs. Green are correct using your proof drawing. Go ahead. Math magicians, when you finish that math drawing, I want you to use the show all totals method to solve your math problems today. Have a great day of learning.